Well, local governments have come and gone, and now it's time for action and execution to implement all the manifestos, commitments, promises, policies and plans. Let's talk more about the roles of the leaders and qualities required to effectively lead and manage municipalities. We are now joined by leadership expert Professor Mazwe Majola. Prof, always a pleasure to see you here on SABC News. Thanks as always for giving us your time.
Good day, Flo, and thank you very much once more for inviting me. Thanks, my sister.
You're most welcome. Last we spoke, Prof, we were eagerly awaiting the results of the local government elections 2021. Now that we know what we know, the results are out. Do you think that this is now a wake-up call for those who will be taking leadership positions in the different municipalities and communities that, you know, if you fail these communities, you can actually lose your position? I think some might have felt a sense of, well, I can basically do what I want because I'll keep being elected into office. And now these local government elections have kind of said something different, haven't they?
Absolutely. And now the leaders will definitely learn, and they will know those who will come back and those who will be, or rather those who will be elected back, that they must not take people for granted. Yeah. And there's no one who is who should be who should think that he is beyond everything, that he cannot be taken to task. Yeah. So it's very, very important that leaders, they must understand that they must respect people, they must respect themselves, because if they respect themselves, then they will respect people, and they will know that now they don't serve people, they will be out. Because it's very important to remember that if you are an elected leader, you are at the mercy of people. It's a term-based, it's a term-bound. You will come and you will go. So it's important to know exactly why you are there, and then is to respect those people who have put you there. And moving forward, we hope that they've learned a lesson, those who will be coming back.
Yeah. When you mention moving forward, it would be interesting to hear what your views are in terms of, you know, the roles that these new leaders, new mayors and councillors now have to play. Where would they start? And I mean, let's just assume there's no, you know, there's no feelings of entitlement when taking these particular positions. Where would one begin in starting to show that leadership role, and that I am actually here to do business and I am here to actually work for you as the community?
Well, what is important now is to understand that manifestos, promises, commitments, plans, policies, all those, as important as they are, but they've come and gone now. Now it's a time to implement those, because policies without actions are just dead, you know. So those policies and those commitments now need to be executed. So they need to take people into their confidence and say what we promised you to do, and we are here to do now. Of course, yes, it's a big thing. There's so many needs out there. They cannot tackle everything at once. It will be very important to break them down and to make sure that they identify those areas, 2 or 3 areas they can start with, things that will be able to attract people, and those ones that will be able to build that culture of excellence and that culture of service delivery, so that people can see that, yes, he is the leader that we've been waiting for all along. And the leader must say, yes, I've arrived, now I'm here to do what I promised that I'll be doing. And so actions now is very important, and implementation and execution is critically important, so that people can trust those leaders.
I mean, some of the manifestos, and you know, we listened to all most of the parties that were up and contesting. You know, some of the promises made were quite outlandish, and you know, some of them managed to get votes, and many votes, based on those outlandish manifestos and promises that they made. there are some who have quite bizarre, I'll use the example of bizarre immigration policies, for example, and they garnered quite a few votes based on, what they'd promised in terms of dealing with immigration and closing borders, if I can put it that way. That's going to be a very difficult thing to do, and if this was the main part of what you said you would deliver and you are unable to deliver that, how would you then justify it in terms of saying, look, I know this is why in the main you voted for me, but I can't actually deliver on that. I mean, how would this possibly then backfire? I mean, the people have voted at this time.
It's very dangerous because leadership is about consistency. What you promise, you must deliver. And as analysts, I remember that we did warn political organizations pre-elections during their campaigning that others, they were really talking about national competencies, things that are not at a local government areas. Yeah. And they were talking about all sorts of things, and then they were telling people things that has nothing to do with local government, things that are done or should be done by national government. So it will take a lot of doing and a lot of convincing now to come back and say, no, we can't do this, but we can only do this. Yeah. This is why I'm saying now what's very important for leaders is just to identify those quick wins, those areas that they can able to move with speed, and so that they can just attract people's trust and people's respect and say, here I am, I promise to do this, this is what I'm going to do, I will be doing this and this, and then people must see that this person is really serious about service, because at local government level, people are just crying, are just dying, are just demanding service, delivery. Yeah. So if you are a local leader, what is important for you is just to make sure that people get the services, yeah. And then communicate if you are unable to deliver those services at a particular time. Take people into your confidence. Communicate why are you not able to do that at that particular time, and then give people the feedback, give people a continuous communication, and so that they know that you don't just come to campaign, and when it comes to time to deliver and you run away or you disappear, but you've got to be there with people all the time. And
while you're talking about the issue of service delivery, I mean, certainly that's been the biggest cry of many of our communities, and indeed when it was we were building up to the local government elections, this is the thing that people that we spoke to on the streets were really sort of bitterly complaining about. What can we attribute the lack of good service delivery to, aside from the issue of corruption, of course? Is it a lack of resources on one hand? Is it the fact that the right people are just not elected? There's a leadership problem there? Or is it, as some have said, look, I'm being sabotaged in my leadership role? Or is it really just a mixture of all of that?
Yes, it's just a package of all of this, Flo, but leadership it becomes a part of it, a very important thing, because leadership, it's everything. Once obviously you put a person there, and then you must now show that that leadership by developing a good vision, must take people into confidence in terms of that vision, yeah. Must be innovative, must build relationship and collaborations, must define direction, must set a tone. That is a leader. But of course, yes, you've got as a leader, you yourself, you've got to have skills to do that. So if the people who were put into positions, whether by elections or appointment, did not have skills, it will always be problematic. And also, you've got to surround yourself with good people with skills, not just yes man, yes boss, whatever. So it's very, very, so it's a whole package. That is why you've got to have a leader, because remember that at a local government level, you still have people who must build their economic development, because they must not only rely on the finances coming from the national government, but also at a local government level, they must build the collaboration with local businesses. So that takes a leader. It must be innovative. How can we get some resources here, whether financial resources, and also train our people, because people or leaders, they still think that once you put someone there, it's done. No. You put someone, but that person must continuously train and develop, because leadership is developed. Leadership is made. You've got to make a person every day. So it's very important, and just hope that people have learned really, as they come back, they'll be able to find good people, find right people, and put people in the right position who are fit for purpose, not just take anyone, because again, it will affect and impact the service.
All right, Prof. Mazwe Majola, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for being with us here on SABC News this afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
All right, that is leadership expert Professor Mazwe Majola weighing in on the fact that local government elections have come and gone, and now certainly time for action for those who have been indeed elected into their roles.